Hello and welcome. This is Jensen with Soft Edges, and this is your week ahead reading for February 2nd till the 8th, 2026. Happy Leo full moon. I am recording this on the 1st, the day of the Leo full moon. I did do like a little mini pull on that because that was really strong moon energy for this week's reading. So it felt only fitting to pull that in. I'll do like a brief little chit chat about that and then we'll get into the cards. I have a little bit of astrology to talk about. First, I want to say happy Imbolc. Imbolc is a Celtic holiday. It's a cross quarter point between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. We're halfway there. We're halfway back to the light, which is so exciting. I am using the Season of the Witch Imbolc deck for today. I'm so excited. That's what this card is, and what a fun card we pulled from it. So I did look, and it talks about themes and areas of focus for Imbolc: awakening, cleansing, healing, hope, illumination, innocence, inspiration, light, patience, sprouting, transitions, well-being, and youth. So just holding it in our hearts today. So happy Imbolc. Wow, I can't believe we're here already. Lots of stuff going on this week. I do want to first pull up my ephemeral calendar. I've talked about this on my Instagram. I'll talk about it in a few other videos. The ephemeral calendar is a transit tool to help us work with the energies of the week. I use it every week and every day to get a read on the energies that are going to be coming forward each week. So I'm using this today to talk about the transits that are happening. First, on Tuesday the 3rd, we have Uranus stationing direct. This is big news. This is the last time it's going to be in Taurus for most of our lifetimes. Uranus has an 84-year cycle, so I'm excited for that. Oh, the questions for the Uranus station are so good. This tool offers reflection questions and what could you get rid of right now? Where are you resisting change? What part of the past do you wish to embrace? So good. I'll definitely be living into this and probably will factor this into the reading this week because we did get the Three of Swords, this like lesson, this hard lesson card at the beginning of the week when the station is happening. I get a sense it'll help us looking at like what are the things we're having to get rid of and where are you resisting the change. Next, on Thursday the 5th, we have Mercury squaring Uranus, and this is a loud transit. This does not go quietly. So I'm curious to see how that's going to show up in our week this week. On Friday the 6th, we have Mercury entering Pisces, where it will stay until April because it's going to station retrograde at the end of the month. Finally, on the 8th, we have Venus squaring Uranus. And I'm also curious about this energy and how this might show up for us. And we'll see how it shows up in the cards. So that is the astrology we're looking at this week. And yeah, let's get into the reading. I do want to start first with today, even though this is the first and this reading's for the 2nd through the 8th. And I asked, what would this full moon have us know? What would this Leo full moon have us know? Joy is essential is such a beautiful Leo energy. Leo is so not childish in like a demeaning way. Childish in this like playful, light, spunky sort of way. And I love that it's bringing in this joy as being essential. With the Two of Swords, it's so interesting. This card originally flew out, I was like, oh, what are your Dobermans protecting? Like, what is this hard external energy that you're protecting yourself from, not entering? What are you not allowing to flow through you? And I get a sense that whatever you're resisting or whatever you're like protecting yourself from prematurely is preventing you from leaning into something that might actually be fun, joyful. I feel like I say this often, but this is a big call as like play and joy and fun as a radical act, especially with this full moon is happening, and within the next 50 something hours, Uranus is going to go direct. And this is loud. This is a loud energy. So all this to say, there is something here around instead of resistance, choosing joy, and then instead joy as resistance. Yeah, there's like a watchdog energy here. Really interesting. So yeah, energy of this full moon, what would it have us know is like, what are you protecting yourself from? What are you resisting? And could it be preventing you from experiencing joy? And how can you lean into this more and soften? Like, we got the butter charm. I did pull charms already, and they didn't want to be thrown this week, so I have them in this little like container. And we got the butter this week, which makes me think of like, where can we soften? Where do we have to like not be on guard as much? And again, this moon energy is like really dominant this week. I don't know if you can like see in this little tray all of the moon symbolism. Okay. Overall energy of the week, we've got the dawn. And it says, slow it down, move slower still, become the witness swelling in presence. Ooh. Oh, so gorgeous. I especially love this because on the other side of this moon charm, we have dream. And part of a practice I'm doing for a school I'm doing, we're being asked to daydream of what it would feel like to live into your gifts of your life. And this dawn really makes me think of that. Despite all the noise, despite all of the things that we have going on, despite the exhaustion, despite the rumbling of the revolution, what is your dream life? Like, what is your goal for doing what you're doing? Whether that's, protesting in some way, whether that's helping your neighbors in some way, like, what is your ultimate goal? What is your dream life? Sorry. And what would that look like if we slow down just a bit and then a bit more and saw what was available to us? Really interesting energy to get for this week, especially when I'm like looking out at all this. We have mostly major arcana. And this tells me that, again, this is going to be a big week. I'm going to probably either today or tomorrow be releasing my monthly wrap up for January. And in that, I talk about, there are a lot of astrologers and different YouTubers and stuff, at least across my feed, that are doing stuff like 20 minutes of silence collectively, or like collective prayers or something. And there's an invitation here to, if you're not already engaging in a practice that brings you to stillness for at least, like I was saying 5 minutes a day a couple months ago, it's more now. It's 20 minutes a day of doing nothing, complete stillness, not on your phone, just existing. Louder still is the invitation to call that in at this time. Monday, Tuesday, again, when that Uranus station is, we have the Three of Swords. And the Three of Swords can be called the heartbreak card, but what I really like to soften into is this as a lesson. Again, if this Leo full moon with the Uranus station is as loud as I'm hearing, then I do get a sense that there's things that are going to be challenging, where we might feel attacked, where we're confused about what's going on, but we know that we've been hurt in some way. Something I'm being called to notice right now is the angels just said, remember that the 3 is hardly the beginning of the cycle. So, 1 through 10 in the minor arcana, this is hardly the beginning of the cycle. It's still in the first third. And that though this might feel like a huge severing, a huge challenge, remember that this is still the beginning of the journey towards something bigger. Especially with the Wheel of Fortune, it's kind of like, how can you make this less personal? That is the key here. That's the key here. How can you take this lesson and take it less personally and remind yourself over and over again, like, this isn't personal. I know this isn't personal. And the reason why I'm saying that, because let's move into the energy of later in the week. So Wednesday, Thursday, we have the full moon card in reverse and the Wheel of Fortune. And whenever I see the Wheel of Fortune, it's just like the chips are falling where they may. And remembering that things are not happening to you, they're happening for you. And all it takes to realize that is a mind shift set, like a mindset reset. So because we have so much moon energy in today's poll, and I'm being called to really notice the way that this full moon is actually in reverse, there's something around just being some confusion midweek. Like, what is happening, especially following this Three of Swords. And look at all of the cloudiness in this too. What is happening? And I do get a sense that we won't be able to see clearly. How can we accept that and just know that that's just how it's going to be this week? There is like a dreamy state, though. It's really interesting. And I also am seeing this little teeny fish, which when I see in like the Page of Cups or something, often comes as an offering. And because it's in the reverse, because it's in this like watery state, I do wonder if you're getting messages in your dreams. So pay attention to your dreams this week, especially with this little dream charm that came up. Yeah, midweek, we're paying attention to our dreams. Also, speaking of just like this slowing down energy of the theme of the week, we have in the Wheel of Fortune, there's no active characters. I mean, maybe this turtle is active, but not really. And a turtle being active is still really slow. So again, there's a passivity to this Wheel of Fortune, and it's at a stump, and a stump is firmly rooted. And the only thing that's coming through right now about that is like, this is written. There's some just like observing that's happening, witnessing. Again, I want to come back to this. Become the witness, swelling in the presence from stillness. Something I am noticing is I am wondering about this like worm and what a worm might represent. Two things are coming through right now. One is worm as something that helps to compost the old in order to like then excrete and create like nutrients for the next iteration of this like chopped down tree, right? Like if something has come down, this because it's a tree, and I think of how long it takes for trees to grow, I'm thinking about like the sudden change, especially with Uranus and Taurus, the sudden change of something that has taken a really long time to grow, but very quickly comes in this like composting energy of like using what's been chopped down, what's been hacked, in order to seed the next iteration of whatever is happening in your life. I have a feeling that it might be hard to see that, but yeah, maybe you don't have to try so hard to see it, but know that it's just happening anyways. I'm being drawn right now to this this star and this bear too. And bear makes me think of hermit. It's perfect for this time of year where we're still resting like that seed I talked about in the beginning. And the star also makes me think of the seed. It makes me think of the star card, the card of Aquarius, where there is like collective knowledge coming from the cosmos, coming from the beyond, and being poured into humanity. But it takes quiet, it takes rest. What is it going to take for us to rest? I don't know, honestly. I feel like there are so many people in my life that are so fucking tired and not giving themselves the space to rest. What is it going to take for you to rest? Is it going to be another big event that makes us stop dead in our tracks? I wonder. Finally, for the weekend, we have the Lovers card. And I just want to refer one more time to what's happening in the astrology. So this is when Mercury is entering Pisces and also Venus is squaring, is it Uranus? Yes. So here we have the moon card, the moon energy again. So interesting. And I can't help but wonder if what's in this water, this offering is like the lovers, this choice, this path, because that's often a way to interpret the lovers card. Oh, this is so interesting. Wow, I'm so curious about all this moon energy. And also I'm being drawn to, I pulled this marble as a charm for us this week. And I was like, what would the marble represent? And I was just thinking about the folds and the many layers. And that's becoming evident to me in the many layers of the water, like the ripples. And it's making me think of the ripple of this offering, the ripple of, oh my God, like just a drop, and how in this tiny drop is so many layers. So it's making me think of like the impact of an event, the impact of this tiny decision that perhaps you make, maybe in relationship, maybe in a path that you choose. There's something funny here about perhaps if this is relationship related for you, like this is how this chooses to show up. There's something about someone in the relationship holding their cards really close. And this one's more flippant. This one's more like, I'm willing to share, but are you? And I see that this person, this part of the relationship, this choice, again, I want to stick with relationship. This part of this person in the relationship being less willing to share what they're holding close. But there's someone that's curious, and maybe that's what part of this offering is this getting curious about what is your dream? What are you manifesting? What is falling away for you? What is changing? Again, with the full moon energy. The full moon is a culmination. The full moon is the end of the cycle and then weans away back to the new moon where we plant our seeds again. In Leo, it makes me think of, the moon is in Leo and it's about the I, and the sun is in Aquarius opposing the moon, and it's about the collective. And where do we balance that? There's so much moon energy that's making me think of like the Leo energy, and it's quite can be very dramatic. There's not a ton of, I say there's not a lot of drama. Then we have the Three of Swords, but yeah, there's something here about like the energy of the moon seeping into us if we're willing to accept it. This like dreamy, otherworldly energy. And I'm also noticing that the same person in this energy has the cloud above their head, similar to the clouds that exist in the Three of Swords, similar to the clouds that might be skewing the image in the water. But not this one. This one's clear. And there's something here around like, will you just perhaps allow the seeping of a message that wants to come through to you? This acceptance, this understanding that isn't maybe like readily available to, I don't know, the collective, but on a deeper level exists? Or will you choose to like stay clouded? I have a deck that has kelp in it, and I'm actually going to go and pull from it and read what kelp means because I'm being called to do so. So hold just a quick second. Okay, so I'm using the Dirt Gems Oracle to read for this card kelp, which, yeah, just the angels were like, read it. So here's where we are. So kelp, the tide bringer. Kelp is ocean medicine. A gorgeous variety of seaweed, kelp is a salty, winding forest that provides home for many creatures. Kelp is home medicine. What matters most when we think about our place in this world is how we locate ourselves in the relationship to other living beings. Kelp is where otters live. Kelp is where otters live. They tie themselves to the kelp forest in order to not float away, and sleep on their backs with their young tied to their bellies, always connected. This is how we can see our ocean medicine friend, as an umbilical cord to belonging. If you need a sense of home or togetherness, you can call on kelp to weave you into the web of place. Kelp brings many stories and shape-shifting water spirits with them, including the most directly connected, for English speakers, the Kelpie. Kelp speaks in omens through their movement and mystery that we've been fascinated by for thousands of years. We too are ocean creatures and perhaps look to kelp to relearn the language of our true home, to speak the shape-shifting with frequency, to find a comfortable place in the mystery, to fill our homes with magic. We are surrounded by living entities whose secrets we know in our hearts, but whose language we have forgotten. Kelp can help you in the mother tongue of water and salt. Kelp is the home place for our magic. Kelp is the mysterious forest where we travel to and melt into the thriving, interwoven net of life itself. Kelp is a slippery, salty, nourishing part of the blood and ocean water that runs through our very bodies. Kelp says, I am part of you. Welcome home. Wow, that is super duper potent. I love that so much. And it's just making me think of, just to wrap up the reading again, like I said, the lovers and with the kelp and the otters as home is just our interconnectedness to others. And perhaps this weekend, this is what we get, is an interconnectedness to someone we love, or our home, or a new place, a new person, maybe zooming out and seeing the ways that we're all connected to one another. Even the people that are resistant to our love. A little bit of a longer reading this week, but yeah, I'm grateful that this is what wanted to come through. I feel like this was a really, really rich reading, and I'm excited to see how it manifests for us. Just as a reminder, if you didn't already know, this ephemeral calendar, I have a code for. It'll be in the bio to get $33 off Ephemeral Calendar. I've been talking about it a ton. You can probably see on Instagram me talk about it. But besides that, thanks so much for being here. Good luck, and I'll see you on the other side.